What's happening, everyone? JayShockblast here, and check it out. Jason Schreier from Bloomberg has a new article today highlighting the failure of Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League, what happened, what caused it, how we got to where we are today on June 6, 2024. I want to start off by saying I trust Jason Schreier's reporting pretty much more than anyone in the industry. It's pretty much if he says it, it's gospel to me. I don't believe he makes anything up. Like, he is a straight shooter, and I was a little dreadful reading this article because, quite frankly, I am one of the few people that has enjoyed their time with Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League for most of my time with it. Obviously, it's got some issues, but you know, the crux of the article is mismanagement. It's a tale as old as time. It's basically you could plug in so many studios that came before, and it would be the same story. It does seem like WB is saying they're taking a $200 million loss on Suicide Squad, but I don't know if that is an actual loss from what they what they invested into the game, or if it's off their projections. Obviously, we've heard some of their financial calls where they were talking about how much money they, quotation fingers, lost year over year, and what was going on a year prior was the absolute unicorn that is Hogwarts Legacy. A few games make as much money as Hogwarts Legacy did in its release, so I don't know where this lies, but the game failed for a number of reasons, said people, including a constantly shifting vision, a culture of rigid perfectionism, and a genre pivot that was ill-suited for the studio. So I want to concentrate on, right now, the constantly shifting vision, which I feel like is kind of apparent, but I think we can all agree that from the get-go, Suicide Squad could have been a good video game, but, people look at Rocksteady and they just want Batman. And for better or worse, that doomed the game from the beginning. But also, you look at WB Games Montreal and they said the same thing. So there has to be an opportunity for nuance. If you want other characters to get video games, you can't just instantly tune out every time some other group or whatever gets a shot. All right, and a lot of the vitriol for this game started from the jump simply because it was not a Batman game. It hadn't earned any of the criticism at that point. It was simply not Batman, which is exactly what Gotham Knights went through. And it's a lot of what led to such difficult public outcry, I guess, if you will, throughout the process of this game being made. With that said, this is a game that needed to launch near perfection, and it's weird that in a culture of rigid perfectionism, this game came out about as broken as any video game has ever come out, okay? I did not have nearly the problems that a lot of people had, but, I mean, Hyrule today still cannot even play the Joker. They literally had to take the Joker out of his game because it caused his game not to work. I am now on month number 2 of not even being able to get a simple doll put into my game that I got by redeeming a code from a comic book. So a lot of people said that this was going to be just a cash grab. Oh, they're just jumping on a trend of games as a service, even though Batman Arkham Knight is one of the biggest games as a service games in comic book history. So they already had experience with microtransactions, season passes, DLC, all that stuff. They were already selling extra stuff on their games. The issue that we got here is that I just don't think they understood that you have to do it every week in this game. In the last 2 months, there have been like 2 different releases of skin packs, and they're both terrible. They're both like in a vacuum. If you put these out as part of a game that was releasing something weekly, you could probably get a pass on it. But like we are now June 6th, okay? We are 5 full months into this game. All of February, all of March, all of April, all of May. All right, so we're over 4 months into this game, okay? And they still haven't released King Shark as Green Lantern. That is where they're wrong. Like, this was supposed to be a cash grab, right? Well, they're doing a really, really bad job of trying to grab cash. There is nothing to buy in this game, okay? And, the big blame that Schreier points to is Sefton Hill, who left the company, but there are teams within Rocksteady that would submit work for his specific approval, and they would go weeks and months without ever hearing from him. And, that's always going to be a problem when you bottleneck the process of building a video game. And, look, I understand and I agree. If I were making a video game based on DC Comics and I had the opportunity to pick any franchise, I would never have picked the Suicide Squad. Could this game been something successful? Yeah, sure. I mean, if people were willing to, go with the nuance that they were trying to do here, okay? In a perfect world, Elseworlds, it's a cute idea. I've said this many times. It's interesting. But I think this story works better as a movie, as animated, as a cartoon, as something other than a video game. Because the people that are going to play these video games, just they want what they want. And I think the biggest thing that's been proven through this whole process is that if the general public, the general audience is not going to accept the premise, like, you have to be perfect to ever have a shot at making it work. And I'm sorry, if you're going to do a Suicide Squad game, you got to focus on the characters people know. And obviously they've never really fully officially announced anything as far as the Elseworlds characters that we're supposed to get in season 2 and 3. And that is all based off of data mining done by people like Miller Ross. Those characters would never work. They are not going to save this game. All right. I think it's very clear that no matter how much thought went into the writing of those characters, of Elseworlds, it just hasn't resonated, and it never will. Like, you needed Captain Cold and I don't know, we'll just say Black Manta for the sake of argument, okay? You needed actual characters people know and love. That is why people are actually somewhat excited at the prospect of getting Deathstroke. But instead, they decided to do all this Elseworld stuff. It just doesn't work. Brainiac, we never need Brainiac in any form of entertainment ever again, okay? Especially video games where Injustice already did Brainiac and Lego Batman 3 already did Brainiac. So many Brainiac stories. Enough with Brainiac, okay? There needed to be lots of villains, recognizable villains that you fight. That's one of the things we remember the most about the Arkham series. Our first interactions with the Joker, the Bane, finding Killer Croc in the sewers. Like, these are lasting memories that we have in playing the Arkham series and why it is so beloved. I think that live service could have worked for this. I was happy to have a game that was constantly evolving, that was, you know, we would constantly be able to make our characters look cooler. Like, look, games like Fortnite, they make it work. People love logging into the store and seeing all these new collaborations, all these new things. But with this game, the core feature that was going to keep this game funded was an absolute fumble. They had the Justice Loser skins, which everybody loved. Everybody said, that, we like that. You know, Deadshot as Batman, Harley as Wonder Woman, you know? Like, that is great, you know? The Flash with Captain Boomerang and obviously King Shark as Superman, that was great. No Green Lantern King Shark. Why? Literally people begging for it since the second they saw it. That is mismanagement, and that is why it's really weird how people are like, oh, this is such a cash grab, because that was their biggest failure, grabbing the cash. Even Marvel's Avengers, a game that had no content, okay, for huge stretches at a time, managed to get people interested to at least log into the game once a week to see what the new skins were going to be. And they kept the game somewhat funded because people would buy them. All right, no movie skins, no traditional comic skins. You know, you've got skins based on other characters like the Gentleman Ghost. And listen, I appreciate whoever at Rocksteady is clearly a huge fan of the Gentleman Ghost. That is not the type of skin that you put out that early into a game that's already doing poorly. Like, why weren't there Jokerized skins? You know, we saw in the Battle Pass that they had the Wayne Tech skins, and those are great, okay? It's these characters in Batman-style suits, and that was cool. But why didn't we get that for Scarecrow or Two-Face or Black Manta? Characters that are themed around the weapons of these seasons and chapters and whatever they're calling it, all right? There was nothing being released for weeks at a time. There was no reason to log into the game other than to get your battle pass going, and even that for a while was a slog, and then it was a lot more fair. But there's as cool and as the game is at times, I understand why people don't want to play. There are still people that can't even log in and play as the Joker, and that's crazy. This far in, I think a lot of people are making up stories about how, oh, they're going to close Rocksteady. And that could happen. Don't get me wrong, but there is nothing suggesting that that is real and that we're actually there. The reality is Rocksteady is a very talented studio. There's like a lot of things to love about this game. The animation, especially the facial animation, is god tier. Like, there are amazing things in this game, and it's clear that this is a talented team that had a flawed vision, and it all started at the top. This was not a sweet baby issue, okay? This game, as Jason Schreier states, was 100% crafted by Sefton Hill, okay? This is his vision. You know, obviously at times he just didn't know what the hell to do. Like, I guess in this article, it says there was a point in time in which they were going to each have their own vehicles they could drive, okay? Even in a game where they're you know, Deadshot is flying around everywhere, all right? You know, and King Shark is able to, you know, jump tall buildings in a single bound, all right? There are valid criticisms. I guess at one point this game was going to be very melee-based instead of gun-focused, and I understand that, okay? I understand the argument that, oh, Captain Boomerang with a gun, it doesn't make sense. I understand that, all right? But I don't know. I don't know if... listen, Avengers was great in their combat system, okay? You played Thor, you felt like you were Thor, right? But I don't know if you've played this game and dealt with the snipers within it. Captain Boomerang wouldn't stand a chance, okay? Like, all these snipers need is a line of sight, even from a mile out, and they're going to, like, one or two shot you. So, you know, there had to be some kind of a balance to that. It is what it is. But no, seriously, like, reading through this article, it wasn't as bad as I thought. It's really and truly just a matter of, you know, poor management and an idea that maybe wasn't the best from the start. What we do see, though, many of the studio's employees are now helping to develop a new director's cut version of Hogwarts Legacy. At the time, according to people familiar, the studio leaders are looking to pitch a new single-player game which will return Rocksteady to its roots. All right, and that's why I don't think Rocksteady is going anywhere, because they are still a legendary studio. You know, the issues here aside can be corrected. Just throw them at some more Batman slop, and they'll be back in their wheelhouse and doing what they are known for and what people apparently will only buy from them. I would love it if it was not Batman, though, and it was an actual character. Like, I don't know, give people the Superman game they want finally. But it's going to be something safe. Whatever they do, which is probably why it should just be Batman, it's going to be something safe that they know they can knock out of the park and go from there. So that's it. What do I expect moving forward from Suicide Squad? Absolutely nothing. Okay? I feel like I have been one of the biggest cheerleaders for the game, believing what I'm told, you know, believing in the people that I met in LA that I know cared about what they were doing, and I just don't have it in my heart anymore to do it. And a lot of it has to do with my own experience with these comic books. I literally have bought like 4 issues or more of all 5 of these comics that have come out now, and the last 2 I can't even get the dolls in my game. Customer support does nothing about it. Like, I don't even know how they ended up in it 2 weeks later for issue 4. And now issue 5 came out, and I'm in the same place. So why am I going to fight for this game? All right, they don't even want to fight for the game. They don't want to put any effort into putting anything into the store that's worth buying. You know, like, so what's the point? All right, like, there's no point in logging in the game anymore, and they're just gonna slop out a character nobody's gonna want, and then months and months. We're literally looking at another 6 months before you even see the one character you've been waiting for, Deathstroke. And will we even get that? I don't know. Anyway, the link to the article is in the description. It's a pretty straightforward read. Like I said, Jason does incredible work. And I really wish it was different, because I do think there's something there. But there isn't. And that's that. See ya.